Now, you've seen AI text to image generation before, and it's starting to get really good. But you know what's been sorta out of the loop so far? Text to music. There have been some pretty big improvements to the text to music scene, so I figured I would show you some of my favorite AI music generators. Now, each new website that I show, the music generator gets better. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. Now, this first one is not actually a text to music generator, but it is an AI music generator. And what's cool about this one is this is more just for memes and having fun. So if you're looking for a quick little way to generate a song and it has lyrics in it as well, then this is a great way to do it, to just send a funny video over to your friends. Now, you do have to have a Voicemod account, but once you have that, it is free to use for a limited time. So I had ChatGPT generate a few verses celebrating a fictitious person named Bob that I came up with. So we're just going to run through this process to generate this funny music video. Now, I think this one will actually be quite funny to use for the happy birthday, because it doesn't really, they have a happy birthday, but it's funny, and that's what this is supposed to be. So I'm going to select that, hit next, and then I have to choose a singer here. La 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 la. I quite like Ed. I think I'm going to use him for our singing voice. So I'm going to choose him, hit next. Now, it does have quite the short limit, so I couldn't put everything that ChatGPT generated, but it is enough to get the gist here. And then you can I guess change the name. So I could say happy birthday, Bob. And then artist name, I don't know, we could say Tim, I guess. And then we create the song and let AI do its magic. So it's not we can't really determine the song sound like this. You just sort of have to pick from their library, but it is cool how it puts it all together for you. And it's just overall a funny kind of thing. So I'll show you once this is done. All right, so we got it, and it generates a nice little music video for you. It's not, it's basically just a still image with text, but it's still pretty cool. So let's give this a listen.
Happy birthday, dear Bob, it's your special day with balloons and cake hit for pulling me. Laughter and joy come your way and wonderful surprises fill your day. Cheers to you.
So yeah, it's quite funny. It does actually a pretty good job incorporating all of it with the lyrics and stuff, but it's not the top of the line kind of thing, and it is meant to just be more funny. Yeah, that's this one for you. Now, this next one is the Loudly AI music generator. Now, this one is also not a text to music one, but it does generate some actually good sounding music that you could use as just sort of background music for, videos or whatever. So the way you use this one is you select a category. So, I don't know, I guess we could go hip hop. Now, once you have your category, you have a series of options that you can either enable or keep off. So if we left this blank, it would just generate us a new unique hip hop sounding beat. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose genre blend. I don't know, maybe we want some techno in there. We can say generate a hip hop techno blend music. And then if we wanted to, we can make it a low energy. I don't know what this is going to generate, but we could also have it randomize on the kind of I guess instruments that we have in here, and there's quite a lot to choose from. And then you could choose a specific BPM. I'm just going to leave that the same. And then you could choose a duration, so you can actually have up to a 7-minute song on here. So it is quite flexible with what it can generate. But I think this is fine, so I'm just going to hit generate and watch it work its magic. Now, while this is generating, I should also mention that you do need an account for this, but you don't have to pay anything. It's just a free account. You can upgrade if you'd like, but you could just use it for free. And actually, all of the websites I'm showing you here are free. Some of them do have an upgrade option, but the baseline is free, so you can use it for free, no problem. Now, you'll see here it tries to generate 3 songs. A lot of times it says based off of a large number of requests, it can't be completed. I just hit retry, and eventually, after a few times of hitting retry, it eventually loads the 3. And there we go, we got our 3 songs generated. So let's go ahead and take a listen to Street Swagger. Let's give a listen to the next one. All right, let's listen to the final one. So that's pretty cool. It's nice that it generates 3 songs for you, and it is quite flexible with what it can do. So I like this one. And next up, we have Soundful. Now, this website is definitely marketed towards people who are in the creative space and who are going to be purchasing this to work creatively and actually create music. Now, you can use it for free, but you are sort of limited to what you can do unless if you pay. So this is definitely the most pay-heavy website on this list, but we could definitely still check it out. Now, you do need to sign up with a free account, but after you've done that, you will be presented with this homepage. Now, it is definitely intimidating at first, but I promise it's not that complicated. So to start creating music, you head down over here to this red button, you click it, and then you sort of just pick what you want. I'm going to do track because this video is focused on music, but you could also do loops and similar, and then that'll open up this page where you select a genre. Now, this one is very similar to Loudly in the fact that it's not text to music by any means. You're sort of combining and fine-tuning it to just how you want it, but it still does produce pretty good outputs. So let's say I wanted to do a hip hop, and then what template do we want to use with this? Let's do a hip hop lo-fi dreamy. And like Loudly, we can change the BPM and the key, although Loudly didn't do the key, it did specific instruments, but you could do a key in this one, so that's pretty cool. And then you do have to give it a track name to generate. So I don't know, I'll just do hip hop lo-fi. And then once you're done with that, you hit create preview. And it does not take that long at all. This is speeding by. Now, I feel that does a really good job at incorporating the hip hop and the lo-fi dreamy. I think out of a lot of these, this is the best sounding AI music generator. Although, like I said, you do lack some of the customizability of some of the ones that I will be showing you in a little bit. Now, if you like this, then you can hit save. If you don't, you can hit create new preview. It'll regenerate it. But I quite like this, so I'm going to hit save. And then that gets saved to your library where you will see it right here. Now, if you do use this a lot, it has some really good sorting features that you could do. So it definitely is fully fleshed out for people who really want to use an AI music generator software to create music for content creation or whatever. However, that being said, if I wanted to download this, you can see it brings up this payment page. Now, it doesn't ask me to pay yet because I have 3 downloads remaining. But you only get 3 downloads before you have to start paying. And if you want access to the copyright, which I don't know how they tell if it's AI generated, but just to be on the safe side, costs you $50 in addition to their Music Creator Plus subscription. So it's kind of expensive. Like I said, you get 3 free downloads, so you can still download it. So yeah, I like this one. I think it generates some really good outputs. It's just pretty expensive. Now moving on to the next one, we have v.io and their music generator. Now this is the first text to music, although I do want to put an asterisk mark because it really doesn't seem like the prompt does much of anything. Now I asked ChatGPT to generate a prompt, and I'm going to be using the same prompt throughout all 3 of the future, this one included, of the future websites that I'll be showing. And let's just take a listen to this. I'm going to go with chill because this is a nice, relaxed, carefree vibe, sunny day in the Caribbean. So I'm expecting to hear some sort of tropical vibes, something that you'd expect when you're sipping like a coconut, something like that, and create the track. Now it does generate it really quickly. So let's go ahead and take a listen. So I don't know about you, but that to me does not sound very Caribbean, So this one I don't really care for, although this is quite the complicated prompt. So maybe with a more simple prompt, it would actually be better. And it the music does sound good. it's just not exactly what I said in the prompt. So you can play around with this one and see what you can generate. All right, so next up we have Riffusion. Now this one has a very simple interface and it is completely free as far as I can tell. And what's cool about this one is they actually show you how they're doing this. So it basically just generates like an image that's very similar to this, and then they transmit that into audio. So it's really cool. If you want a more in-depth explanation, you can look at it here. But let's go ahead and just test out this one that they have pre-selected for us. So that was pretty cool. It incorporated the Jamaican dance hall, as well as like tried to generate some vocals in there. You know, it's not like you couldn't make out any of the words, but it recognized sort of like what patterns vocal has in music, and it sort of tried to generate that. And we can actually put in a prompt here if we want. So I'm just going to use this same prompt, and then you hit enter. And it's not done because it has to like run through the queue, but you can just sort of like jump to it. And then you'll see it'll generate over here once we hit play. So you can see it does take, a little bit of compute power. So it's not, matching up exactly, but it's still doing a pretty good job. Now, this prompt doesn't exactly sound like Caribbean, at least to the way that I would expect it to, but it certainly is better than v.io's music generator. And while the audio quality on this isn't the best yet, it is very promising for the future. And what's really unique about this one is that you can also do just sound effects. So one of the examples that are listed here that I saw in testing was typing, but I'm just going to cue it up since I didn't see it before. So then when I hit play, just listen to the sound that it generated. So it generated full on typing. Now, obviously, since this is one of their preset ones, they have it already pre-generated, but this was something that was generated here just based off of the prompt typing. And it sort of sounds like it tried to turn it into like a musical with the typing on a keyboard sound, but it's just so cool that this website in particular can generate sound effects. Like that's insane. So yeah, I like this one. It's definitely very unique. So definitely go ahead and play around with it. Now, next up is MusicLM. Now, this is actually Google's AI music generator that is sort of in beta, and you have to be put on a wait list. Now, I signed up for the wait list, and it took a few days for me to actually be accepted. So, you could definitely be accepted to it. Like you don't really have to have any qualifications. You just say, hey, I want access, and then they'll give you access eventually, but it does take a little bit of time. So if you're interested, definitely go get that as soon as possible. It's free to sign up. You just need a Google account, and then they'll send you an email whenever you get access, and then you can play around with it. Now, this one is actually really good. So let's go ahead and put in that same prompt and see what it generates. So it looks like it's done here. Let's go ahead and try out track 1. So that was pretty good. It did sound like it was trying to like add in some lyrics and have someone singing in the background. I couldn't like make out any words, but it just sounded like there was someone talking in the background there. So let's go ahead and hear track 2 and see what it sounds like. Now that one sounded really good. I think I maybe like sort of like the beat and overall vibe of track 1, but track 2 sounds so much better, and it actually sounds like a song without, the muffled, sounds in the background of like someone talking. So I'm going to give the trophy to track number 2. They do ask that you participate in this to say, hey, which one's better when you generate it. But yeah, that sounds really good and definitely captured the Caribbean vibe on both of them. That was really good. And I am quite curious what their spooky house music sounds like, so I'm going to generate this next. Yeah, that does not give spooky house. I don't know, maybe, but let's hear track 2. Yeah, I can't say either of those are giving spooky vibes to me. Let's try to remove the house and just see if I could generate spooky sounding music. That one sounds pretty good, actually. I mean, it's not fully there yet, but it's much better than the first 2 that generated for spooky house music. And also, it sort of gives a little bit of spooky vibe. So let's hear track 2, see how this one does. So both of them were pretty good. I think track 2 did better at spooky music. It sounds more spooky, but track 1 seems to just sound better to me. So I don't know which one to give it a trophy to. Should we go more based off of spooky music or what sounds better? I'm going to give it to track 1. I just like track 1 better. So yeah, that's MusicLM. Definitely one of the most advanced music generators that's out there. Now, last but not least is this Meta or Facebook music generator. Now, you can download this and run it on your local machine. However, there is a Spaces available for us, so we don't have to do that. And links to all of these are down in the description as always, so you can go check out any of them. Now, in my opinion, this is the best music generator on this list, and that is out there, period. And you don't even need an account to use it. It's just available on Hugging Face Spaces. So I'm going to use our same prompt. Now you can actually upload a file, which I will showcase what that does here in a sec, but you don't need to. So then you just hit generate. So there we go. It finished the file, and let's take a listen. Now that one sounds really good. There's no artifacts like MusicLM generated. It does sound a little low quality, but as far as music generation goes, that sounds like a very consistent Caribbean beat that then you could add on additional things onto. And I just feel like it matches the prompt the best. Oh, I'm sure you could either use this or MusicLM for whatever your needs are, at least in the future. I mean, these are both in beta and are in testing. So it's not like they're meant to be used as actual music generators yet. But when they're released, I imagine they're both going to be pretty head and head as far as capabilities go. So ultimately, it just comes down to, which one you prefer the outputs from. But yeah, this one sounds really good. And just for the sake of it, I did generate some spooky music to see how it compared to MusicLM's spooky music. So let's go ahead and take a listen. I wouldn't exactly call that music, but it is very spooky. So this one definitely understands what spooky is. So that's pretty cool, but what does this file thing do? Well, I used the exact same prompt, but uploaded this music file. Now I will play a few seconds of it, but it is one of the Phoenix Wright, their game sort of sounds. Now, Now, if you'll remember, the Caribbean one sounded very Caribbean-y, and it was very like even and sounded like very repetitive, but in a good way. Like it's supposed to be like, you know, that's how it's supposed to sound in the music. But let's go ahead and see how this prompt and this music sample worked to create this. So what this does is it takes the melody and sort of tries to incorporate the feeling of this first music and then sort of make it sound like whatever you typed in here. So you'll notice right here, there's like a drop where it stops doing anything and then there's a ba-ba-ba. Let's play this section back in the original music. So you notice how there was a dip there? It actually copied that dip and translated it into this Caribbean style. So this is the only MusicGen on this list that allows you to input your own file and sort of have it generate based off of text and incorporate like the melody of a music file. So that's really cool. And I am curious what spooky music will do here. So let's try this out. All right, let's take a listen. That one's a lot harder to tell that it used inspiration from the sound file. And it does sound spooky, definitely. I mean, it sounds more like music, but it's not as spooky as I mean, I guess the last one was just spooky sounds. It wasn't really spooky music. Overall, it's still really good for still being, you know, being developed and still being worked on. So I think it's a good sign for music generation in the future. But what's your favorite music gen that we covered today? Let us know down in the comments below. And to discover more cool AI tools like these, check out our website at ai-search.io.